What's up YouTube? Daniel back here for another video for the channel. So I ended up walking to a market around here in Toronto. Essentially was looking to get my steps in. Also maybe a part of me is looking to relive Europe and see if there's anything at this market. Ends up there was nothing here. It was actually a little worse than when I last came because it's like a hippie kind of market, old school. I can get food and like other stuff like that, but it's very worn down now, not taken care of. But essentially I want to make a video because today had a crazy reflection after speaking with my coach, and after last video just getting back to things in terms of removing all the devils that I picked up when I was away in Italy, basically trying to get an ego, which is the biggest one. But you know, for me it was food. There's also sleep that, you know, kind of came into it. But essentially what I want to speak about was desire, and you know, how crazy it is once you actually recognize it, and it's even crazier if you don't recognize it and are consumed by it. So for me, for instance, mine is food. So yours can be material things. It could be who knows, money, women, if you're a man, anything that essentially calls your mind to, well, the devil basically makes you think about something that if you have it, it creates a feeling that if you have it, you're gonna get this feeling that you don't have right now, essentially putting you in lack. And then, you know, once you get that, then you can basically feel like you want to feel. And that's essentially how the devil uses you. Desire is all devil. Basically, for me, I'll give you an example. You know, when I was in Italy with the food, I was consumed very much by the devil, just trying different foods. I told myself when I give it back, I would get everything straight. Has it happened exactly how I planned it? 4 out of the 8 days I've been here, I overate, went over my macros. But essentially, you know, today, for example, as I was walking down the street, I had all these different attacks of desire in terms of like, oh, go into this place. I saw like a bakery, like go in here, try and see what the food is like. Like I will see like another shop and be like, or another restaurant, and think to myself, oh, if I go in here, like maybe I can get something small. And this may seem stupid to you, and like, you know, why is he mentioning this? But essentially, these are all the devil trying to play with you and trick you into chasing a feeling, because, you know, the desires wouldn't be there if I was in gratitude and peace. That is a whole goal of every day, being so grateful and in peace that you don't need anything, you don't desire anything. And that essentially was me before going to Europe, Barcelona, the first stop. And then while I was in Barcelona, I was basically a little kid, not desiring anything, just being super grateful. I love, joy. And then I was in Madrid and ended up essentially getting this, actually it was before Madrid, I went to Valencia, got this like stomach thing, and essentially I let that drop my frequency like crazy. But essentially what I'm getting to is desires only come once you're living in ego. Desire is on the frequency chart one of the lowest ones. The society tells you it's normal because they want you to chase. You know, you're always programmed, you know, anybody in the West especially is programmed to chase in order to acquire and then become that person, like basically validate yourself with whatever you acquire. Usually it's material goods, status. For men it's like women, hot women, relationships, multiple relationships, any kind of material thing, money, car, something you can flex and have on social media. But essentially what the program tells you to do is always be on the lookout for the external, and you never realize that it's all internal. This has been the biggest shift for me. Is realizing that whenever you're looking externally, you're living in ego. The spirit does not need anything. Like I said, when you're aligned, think of it like the example I was given the other day. Think of it like a rod. If I show you like pretend this is like a bar rod. If I show you this rod and it's aligned, so the bar is aligned, Does it need anything? No. Let's say I bend the rod. You know, now it's not aligned. Does it need something? Yes. So essentially, when you are aligned, when everything, your thoughts, words, and actions, you're grateful, you're at peace, you have, you know, no desire at all, that's when you're the rod and don't need anything, you're aligned. But essentially, when you're disaligned, is when you begin to need things, or your brain tells you you need something, or tricks you. The devil tricks you into thinking, oh, if you get this, then you can, you know, get that feeling. When you're aligned and you're in peace, that's the feeling you're looking for. That is basically you being grateful and not desiring anything. And when you're unaligned, you're basically in lack, and you're getting convinced through desire to chase a feeling that tells you if you get it, you'll be aligned again, or have that feeling of being aligned. But what actually happens is, let's say you go for that desire and get it, you actually put more weight and become more disaligned, because nothing external, if you add it, will align you. It's all internal, and making sure everything internally is aligned. And once that happens, that's when you're able to live through spirit. And living in spirit, something I've experienced, it's not something you can chase as well. It could be like, you know, what I've noticed for me, my coaches tell me as well, it could be like a new feeling that you chase, of like the spiritual high. And that's the best feeling I've had, and better than any drug I've tried, because essentially you're aligned, you don't need anything, you're super grateful, and it's almost like you're a little kid that is reborn. It's the biggest, best comparison I can give it. You're like a child that doesn't need anything and has no fear. So you have no fear of you losing something or you wanting to control something. You're basically living in like this ecstasy, and you don't desire anything because you already feel good. The reason you desire is because you have this lack and think something external is going to give it to you, which is the devil promising you that. So it's crazy how right now I'm getting all of these attacks again after exercising, you know, my devils with food in Italy. And, you know, for you watching, could be something else. It could be, let's say, women. You may be chasing money and you're getting a certain amount, and you thought, oh, if I got that amount, fuck, I'd be in heaven. But now you get that amount, and a few days later, the lack comes back, and you're promised, oh, now go for this amount, and it gives you another feeling. So that essentially was me when I was chasing women, and in that space where I was working on myself. I started self-development. It was self-development until I started including like drugs and I don't know, all these different things. But essentially I was doing it sober, but I didn't understand anything spiritual as I do now. And there was a lot of times where, many times, probably the whole time, it was all just desire, me chasing this feeling of, oh, if I get this girl, then I can feel this way. And then I got that, and then, you know, I would go for goal, you could say, but it's just desire after desire. And then it came to a point where I accomplished all my desires and my goals, and then I felt emptier than when I started. And like I said, it's crazy because that, you know, lust is something that is the biggest vice for any man. That's like the ultimate boss, the final boss. And, you know, it's the hardest one to get yourself out of. You're basically like an addict, drug addict, because you have all this experience. You have instant gratification compared to you maybe chasing money or chasing a body or something like that. A body being like a physical, you know, like look you're trying to get of like, you know, certain physique. With women, it's instant gratification. So if I go up to a woman and she gives me, let's say, attention or a really good reaction, that's instant. That's like, okay, boom. And then, you know, it can be, you get some experience, maybe like you bring her somewhere, you have, you know, laughs, like it's all instant, if you get what I mean. And for you to get unhooked from that, because you get so many hits right away, it's the hardest one. So that was the one that consumed me to the point where I ended up seeing the devil. I made another video about it. But, you know, you would think that I would learn about desires then, but it's not actually what happened. It actually got worse, and it moved on to money. So that was my new devil, you know, thinking that money would give me and, you know, a certain amount of money. I didn't even know the amount. I just wanted to be, oh, if I get rich, I will, you know, have the feeling and, you know, have the power. And then meeting my mentor and, you know, my coach now, I realize it's all an inner game. Everything is spiritual. And anytime you're in desire, realize it's the devil. And also ask yourself, it's the best question, way to frame it is, would Jesus be chasing desires? Would Jesus chase? Did God put you on here to chase? Everything is attracted, whether you see it or not. And the sooner you're able to realize it's an internal game and do the habits that make you feel good internally, things like no vices, working out, eating clean, tracking your macros, waking up at the same time every day, staying away from bad environments, bad people, toxic people, people that don't help you grow spiritually. That is when you start to feel better and better, and it's when everything, you start to attract, as opposed to operating in lack and thinking, okay, if I get this, I can finally feel that feeling I'm looking for. And the lower the frequency, the more desires you'll have. Like for me, I had the most desires when I was the lowest frequency in terms of women, because I thought I was always chasing like the next girl, and like I want this experience, and you're basically like a drug addict. And it's crazy looking at yourself when you're out of it, how bad you are, but when you're in it, it feels completely normal, because society tells you it's normal to chase. Everyone, especially in the West, chases. You can look around the temple here. Not this woman here, but I mean, kind of in a homeless, you could say, resting area. But the whole point is, the energy you see here is everyone is in a rush. Everyone's in a hurry. They're chasing desires, whether it be monetary, relationships, health, trying to get that physique of that body, which is good. But I mean, you don't chase anything. It's all about becoming that person, attracting it through how you feel internally. It's all how you feel internally that attracts everything you want. Obviously, you have to do the work to feel good internally. It's not just you sit there and like meditate and like, it's the work, doing the right things that allow you to feel good, and increasing that self-worth and that abundance internally. And then, comes with lag, but eventually it comes out externally. But what I'm trying to go with this is, if you right now see yourself desiring like crazy in any area, for me it's food, but it's diminishing as I'm getting the right habits. But for you, it could be anything. Realize you're living in ego and are being run by the devil. And what you begin to do is get the habits that I mentioned, start to implement those. It's about removing the habits I mentioned. Is removing, removing vices, removing, not waking up at the same time, removing bad environments, bad friends, removing you not tracking your food, removing bad food, and once you remove enough things, you start to get that feeling, and then you can start to remove more and more. It's all a removal game, and then when you are in peace and gratitude, you don't need anything anyways. So it's not like you're gonna be in the lack of like, I removed everything. Like, how am I supposed to feel good when you're living in spirit and ultimately abundant? You don't need anything. So it doesn't even matter what you remove. You can be in a cave for all I know, and if you're living in spirit, you're grateful for that cave. You're in peace. You're in joy, and you're basically about to attract whatever it is that's in your heart, because God knows. But it comes with lag. It doesn't come right away. It's not like, today, if I'm feeling good, I can attract everything in one day. No, it's not a one day thing. It's understanding that it comes with lag, and it's about staying in that place, and that's where everything starts to happen. But I wanted to make that video quickly because it's something that even me coming to the market, Kensington market, was probably my desire, because I was looking to see if I wasn't going to buy anything, but just chase the feeling of seeing a food that I can get, like in Italy, and then try it out in the future, or try it out then. But essentially that didn't happen, and I ended up fulfilling what I wanted to do was walk and enjoy the day here. But I wanted to shoot that video quickly because it's what will help you to understand yourself more and get the spiritual side of you fixed, because that is the ultimate area. Spirituality is everything. It attracts everything. It is you connecting to the source, being able to attract once you are connected, and it all starts with removing. So you're gonna see me get back to how I was before, removing all the right things, doing all the right habits, like I said, that I just listed, and not missing. That's the whole key, not missing. And then everything comes as a consequence, like anything in life. doing the right things, you get the things you want as a consequence. So anyways, bit of a long video. I'm not sure how long it is, but essentially something to reflect on, especially in the summers when you get the most desires like crazy. Everyone's desiring, like, you know, it's usually hooking up with, you know, another person because of, you know, how the sun makes you feel, but it could be you just desiring to show off or whatever, you know, anything. But anyways, point is, it's all the devil. Realize that it's an energy. The devil isn't like this physical thing, it's an energy. It's all spiritual. The game is all spiritual, like I said, and once you realize that, that's when everything starts. So it's all internal. The better you feel, the better you attract, and it comes with legs. So don't try to rush, and don't try to chase the feeling of being connected, because that's one thing I've learned as well. It's not something you can do. It has to come as a consequence of how you're conducting yourself and operating. So thank you for staying till the end. If you did, it might not make sense to you, but it will once you do everything I've mentioned. And yeah, it's all a spiritual game, and it's crazy how much you'll grow once you get around the right people and they are operating at this level. But anyways, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did like it, you can subscribe as well. Also comment below, you know, what you're currently desiring, what you're doing to, you know, get out of it. And if you're an ego, you won't understand. But if you're not an ego and you're open to working on this part of yourself, which I recommend because it's the best investment you'll make in yourself, then comment below and we can connect. Otherwise, I'm gonna walk back now and continue the rest of my day. But I wish you guys all the best. Keep pushing, keep removing, and keep growing. In the meantime, all the best of luck. And until next time, keep killing it.